Of all the names etched into the dark, shimmering heart of nuclear history, one endures. This is the story of Tsutomo Yamaguchi, the man who stared into the sun not once, but twice. Morning of August 6, 1945. Hiroshima. Yamaguchi, 29, a ship designer from Nagasaki, longed for home. After a frustrating 3-month assignment, his bag was packed, his papers in order. He would stop at the Mitsubishi shipyard to say his goodbyes, then catch the train west. As he walked across the yard, a lone B-29, the Enola Gay, passed high above. In its belly, a new weapon, Little Boy. The clock read 8:15 a.m. Somewhere overhead, the bomb bay opened. The Enola Gay released Little Boy. Yamaguchi looked up, saw a dark shape falling, then a white that swallowed the world. Yamaguchi would later recall it, a blue-white magnesium flare flash, a speck that blinked in the sky and swelled to fill the world. Instinct snapped. He hurled himself into a roadside ditch as the horizon turned to white. There was no sound at first, only a light that did not illuminate but erased, washing sky, ground, and thought to nothing. Then came the sound as crushing pressure. Air turned to a hammer, flattening timbers, walls, and men as if the city were made of paper. Heat followed like blast furnace wind. The weave of his shirt seared into the skin of his left side, a pattern tattooed by fire. The skin of his face and arms began to slip and blister, pain blooming as sight burned away to glare. The blast wave hit, lifted him, spun him, hurled him into the earth. Ringing swallowed the world. Dust became night. Senses dimmed, and he sank into darkness. He woke in ash and heat, a world smeared in gray and red. Hiroshima lay flattened to the horizon, smoldering ruin under a sick, swirling sky, streets wavering with heat. The air reeked of charred wood, hot dust and melted metal, and something sweet, metallic, and terrible, the scent of human lives erased. Half blind, eardrums ruptured, skin blistered and peeling, he stood, alive, staggering forward, a ghost among ghosts. He drifted through ruins where shadows were burned into walls, past voices rasping for water, until, by miracle, he found his 2 colleagues still breathing. Together they drank from a ruptured pipe, soot-black water on torn mouths, and endured a hellish night in a makeshift shelter beneath a sky glowing an angry radioactive red. In the ruins, one thought beat in him. I must get back to Nagasaki. Burned and bandaged, he endured 2 sleepless nights, then set out with the exodus. On the 3rd day, he joined the column of evacuees, silent, ash-coated figures shuffling along canals and roads, his head swathed in cloth, arms held stiff from scorched skin. He boarded an overcrowded train, a rolling misery where the living stood among the dead, eyes vacant, swaying through heat and grief. By August 8th, he reached Nagasaki. At a hospital, nurses cleaned and rebandaged his burns. That night, home at last, his family wept with joy that he was alive. Morning of August 9th, Yamaguchi reported to Mitsubishi headquarters in Nagasaki. Still bandaged, still reeling from Hiroshima. In a small conference room, he described a single plane, a flash like the sun, and a city erased in an instant. One bomb, he insisted, had destroyed Hiroshima. His boss listened, arms folded, unconvinced, demanding specifics.
You're an engineer, he scoffed. Calculated. How could one bomb do that?
At 11:02 a.m., a white light punched through the windows. A light he knew, a light from his nightmares. Not again. The thought tore through him as the room froze in shock. It cannot be. Not here. He dove to the floor, dragging co-workers down, shielding them as the glass blew inward. Razors of light and sand and shrapnel. The shockwave from Fat Man tore through the Urakami Valley, detonated about 3 kilometers away, an ungodly roar swallowing breath and thought. The building shuddered but held. A reinforced concrete stairwell shielded him. Heat knifed past. The blast roared through. And for the second time in 3 days, he lived. He had survived near the epicenter. He staggered through fresh ruins toward home. House shattered, yet Hisako and baby Katsutoshi, waiting in a tunnel as he'd warned, were alive. They clung to him. The war ended, but an invisible enemy remained inside him. Fever racked his body. He retched until he was empty. Hair came away on the pillow, and the burns festered. Hisako, drenched by the black rain, fell ill as well. In their dim room, they endured, and they held on. For weeks he hovered near death, yet a stubborn will, tempered by 2 sons, refused to release him. Day by day the light returned, breath by breath, until the room slowly brightened with the faint promise of recovery. He rose, dressed his scars, and stepped back into work and ordinary days. But the shadows walked with him, a quiet weight he would carry into the years ahead. For years he buried the memories in work, long days translating for the occupation, later shaping schoolbooks, keeping his hands busy, his mind precise, hoping routine could quiet what could not be forgotten. But nights still stretched endless. He married and raised children, paid bills, mended roofs, yet Hiroshima and Nagasaki walked beside him. A shadow at the table, a cough in the night. Years later, his daughter developed cancer. Every clinic corridor revived August. The tests, the waiting, the fear. He never stopped wondering what the radiation had written in his blood and what it had taken from theirs. Decades passed in silence. Then his son died of cancer and the dam broke. Grief turned him toward the page. He began to write his memoir, sentence by careful sentence. He spoke to students, then wider audiences, plain, firm, humane. Known as a Niju Hibakusha, the double bomb affected carrying memory into classrooms. In 2006, he sat for a documentary. Calm, resolute. The reason that I hate the atomic bomb is because of what it does to human dignity. He was officially recognized as a Hibakusha of both Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yamaguchi died on January 4, 2010, at 93, an epic of endurance, a quiet rebuke to nuclear war, and a testament to the fragility of life and the unbreakable human spirit.